Hey guys, my name is Haley, and today I'm going to be filming my sort of reading year wrap-up of 2016 and sort of statistics of everything that I read. And then I think I'm going to get into some goals I have for 2017 reading-wise. So let's get started. So I'm just going to read off some of the goals I had for this past year. I did a reading checkup on it in the middle of the year, and this is where it ended up by the end of the year. First up, I wanted to read 12 Christian nonfiction / spirituality books, and I ended up reading 13. I wanted to read 5 completed new to me series, and I ended up only reading 3 of them, but I also started a lot of series that aren't finished, so I technically failed that challenge, but I also started a bunch of series that just aren't finished and are still in the works, so I'm not counting it as a complete failure. I wanted to read and finish 4 of the series that I had started previously prior to 2016, and I did complete that. I ended up finishing 6 series. I wanted to do 2 specific rereads of series, and I did reread both of those series. It was the Harry Potter series and the Pendragon series by DJ McHale. I wanted to read 10 nonfictions, and I ended up only reading 9, and when we get into my statistics, you'll see why I'm not really proud of that number. I wanted to read 20 graphic novels and manga. I ended up reading 23, which is very exciting. I read a lot of graphic novels and manga, especially towards the later parts of the year because I bought a bunch of them, so... And then I wanted to read 3 classics and I only read 2. So I'm not really surprised on that. Now going into statistics, I read a total of 161 books. And then to break them down from there, I read 23 graphic novels or manga. I reread 25 books altogether. 2 of those, adding up to 17 books, were 2 of the series. And then a couple of other rereads. I read 29 fantasy novels, which doesn't surprise me at all, and I think that was my highest number. I read 28 dystopian sci-fi books, though 12 of those were the Left Behind series, which is a Christian sort of dystopian, if you want to call it that. I read 13 contemporaries, no surprise there, I don't read a lot of contemporary. I read 6 horror, thriller, or mystery books. I read 3 paranormal books, 13 Christian / spirituality books that were nonfiction, not including the Left Behind series. And of the 9 nonfiction books that I read, 3 of them were YouTuber books. So they were the YouTuber memoirs. Another 3 of them were musical books, so the Wicked book or the Hamilton, those kind of things. And then I read the Rent one. And then 3 of them were celebrity memoirs. So not really substantial nonfiction, but technically nonfiction. So I do want to read more nonfiction in the new year, which leads us into my goals for 2017. My first goal of 2017 is to read the Alexander Hamilton biography and finish it. I think I'm around page 300 right now of 800 some pages, so not too bad, but I did start it in July when I, right after I was in my full-blown Hamilton obsession. And I do enjoy it, it's just hard for me to get through because the font is this big and there's 800 pages and it's nonfiction and it's very fact heavy because it's a very good biography. But I'm determined to finish it this year, and I will be really mad at myself if I don't finish it, by the end of the year. My second goal is to try not to buy full series, especially trilogies, because I do it a lot with trilogies. Try not to buy full series all at once, because, as you'll see in my next goal, I own a lot of, full trilogies that I have never touched. I've never read the first book, I've never even looked at it. So leading into that is my next challenge. That is to focus on reading the full trilogies that I own. I went to my bookshelf, I wrote down all of the trilogies that I own. All 3 books, I've owned them for a while and I've never picked up the first book of them. A lot of them are actually on that top shelf if you can see any of them right there. I own the entirety of the Legend trilogy, the Darkest Minds trilogy, the Under the Never Sky trilogy, the Red Rising trilogy, the Chaos Walking trilogy, the Mistborn trilogy, the Inkheart trilogy, a trilogy called the Codebreaker series, which is a contemporary sort of trilogy. And then I own 2 bind-ups. I own a bind-up of His Dark Materials, that entire trilogy, and then one called I don't know what it's called, but it's the Wake, Fade, Gone series by Lisa McMahon. That's 10 trilogies that I own the entire trilogy, and I've never read any of the books. And that stresses me out. Like, I'm not normally a person that gets really stressed out by their TBR shelf or anything like that. But that does stress me out a lot because that's a lot of trilogies. And I need to read the books that I own all or most of the series, and so I can get those off of the TBR shelf and buy other series that I would like to read. The next goal is to finish/catch up on all the series that I've started this year. So as for finished series, like series that don't have any more books coming out, I need to catch up on The Queen of the Tearling, The Lord of the Rings, the Rotten Ruin series, which I still have a novella bind up left for, unfortunately, that I really don't want to read, but I really want to count it as a finished series because I read the rest of them. The Morpheus Road trilogy by DJ McHale, and the Six of Crows duology by Lee Bardugo. I do not own the rest of the Morpheus Road trilogy, so that's why it wasn't on my other list, and I don't own Crooked Kingdom either. But I do own The Last Rotten Ruin, Return of the King, and Fate of the Tearling, so I do want to get to those as soon as possible this year. And then the ongoing series that I'm not caught up with are The Name of the Wind. I need to read The Wise Man's Fear, and The Slow Regard of Silent Things, which is the little novella. I need to catch up on the Hit series. I own the second book, which is called Strike by Delilah S. Dawson. Need to catch up on the Cormoran Strike series. I read The Cuckoo's Calling last year, and I need to read The Silkworm and Career of Evil, which are both by Robert Galbraith or J.K. Rowling. And then I need to read the Mysteries of Cove sequel, which I read the first one. It's like a steampunk dragon type thing, which I really liked. It's a middle grade series, and I just need to get my hands on the second book. I want to read 12 Christian nonfiction or spirituality books, which was my goal for last year, and I generally try to read like one a month. Another goal is I want to read some of my classics. This stack right here is all the classics that I own, and I read like 2 of them last year, and there's probably like 12. So I have a goal of reading at least 3 of those this year. I want to read some of my nonfiction, and I'm putting it tentatively at 5 nonfictions because the stack right next to it is all nonfiction, and I didn't read any of those last year, so 5 is my tentative stack for that because I'm out of YouTuber books, so I can't use those as my nonfictions this year. I want to reread the Chronicles of Narnia this year because I haven't read them since I was really, really young, and I honestly don't remember much other than The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe because I really love the movie. And I want to reread The Mortal Instruments, but in publication order, so like all the Shadowhunters books. I want to read the first 3 Mortal Instruments, and then the 3 Infernal Devices, and then the last 3 Mortal Instruments. It turns out there's also like a read-along going on of people that are doing that, so I think I heard about it on Katie from Kate's Book Date's channel, and I know a couple of other booktubers that I watch are doing it as well, so I don't know what the details are behind that because I haven't seen a lot of details, but I think they're reading a book a month in publication order of Cassandra Clare's books. So I'm probably going to be joining in that. So there you go. Those are all of the goals I have for this coming year of reading. I'm hoping to get to all of them, if not most of them then, because a lot of them are kind of really specific and I'm kind of scared I'm not going to end up doing them. But thank you all for watching, and I will see all of you guys next time.